Hello. Today I'm gonna go over one of the tier 9 tank destroyers out there. It's the newest tier 9 tank destroyer of the premiums. It's an actual premium on tier 9. I don't know why I said that 3 times, but I said it 3 times because it needs to be said. It's a premium tank. You make credits with this thing. And I have to kick off immediately that this tank is not good. I rate it as the worst of all the tier 9 tank destroyers out there. And the name is the WZ-120G FT. It's not the tier 8, because the tier 8 has a 1 in it, right after the 120. And why I name it one of the worst tier 9 tank destroyers, actually no, it is the worst tier 9 tank destroyer out there, is because it has very few redeeming factors. I would say maybe the gun reload with this fast reload-ish with this alpha, it's very good, but the Jagdtiger has the same or even better, so it doesn't beat it in that. The camo value, no, it doesn't beat anyone in that as well. It doesn't really accelerate in anything. The armor is not there as well. While it came from the newest auction house, Black Market, that was kind of hidden and took everyone by blindsided. It's not that fun to play with, as I will showcase during these 2 replays. Because the big problem with this tank destroyer is the big bloom it generates as soon as you move the hull. So it's very hard to kind of get it into a position and then kind of shoot quickly. You have this long aim. Oh, well, I'm not gonna show you, but this is how it looks when you just turn and aim someone. It's horrible. And I tried with IRM and I tried with this is with AI, so now it's fine. When I finally, can fully aim in, then it's good. But the moment you need to set up, the moment you need to move out with this tank destroyer, it's total garbage. Absolute total garbage. But let's go over the gun a little bit, since I've been whining and dining about it. The gun has a 560 alpha, which is good, with a roughly 9.4, 9.2 seconds reload, depending on how you set up with the initial standard equipment. But the AP is 271 pen with 930 shell velocity, so it's on the slower side. It's good AP pen though. The heat is 340 pen, which is good. It is workable. Workable, it's more than workable, it's the tier 10 pen. And then have a 930 shell velocity as well. HE 65 pen with also a 930 shell velocity. So I would say that's a good thing then, that you won't have a problem knowing which speed of the shell, so you don't have to adjust to that, so every shell is the same, literally. And you have a gun depression of -6, but you have a gun elevation of 15, so I don't know when you're going to be using that. As we miss this EBR here, point blank range, which is always fun. Trying to get my teammates to come and help me. The mobility of this tank is, I would say, moderately fine. You do get up to speed kind of quickly with it. Not sure if this EBR is going to be turning, and he's not. We have a top speed of 47, so when you get downhill, you get up to it. Actually, on a kind of a long distance, you also get up to the 47 top speed here. The 20 reverse speed is actually quite neat for this tank, because it allows you to, like this, get away a little bit quicker. Well, it was kind of a neat shot there on the crown one. Let's see if I can't shoot that tank again. I realized the pod moved up. Maybe I can finish it 263 for him. As a light tank shoots me. And to talk more about the tank, the armor is not that good. It's 150 frontal armor with a very flat surface. And this light tank, I just tried to swing it quickly there and snapshot it with this tank, which is horrible. But you got 150 in your frontal armor, 80 on the side, so maybe there's some side scraping. And here I realized that I would just be overextending and probably be trapped somewhere. And this tank, you don't want to be trapped. Oh, I forgot to mention one thing. The mobility part. You have actually a really good traverse speed. It's up to, what is it, third 40 at the start. You can really get it to turn quickly. So it's kind of hard to get flagged. I guess that's an upside for this tank. And then you just remember this, ouch. Then you remember this K91 PT, which is even better. And like I suspected, he would, when you, if I would continue here on the left, I would get picked apart by these two light tanks, which are now coming for me. And of course they hit. You have a base view range of 390, so it's not hard to get full view range, even with ventilation. As I have on this tank. I have very few field mods on this tank at the moment. Oh man, I just every time I look and I see that type of shot, I'm a little bit puzzled how I am hitting, because this gun handling is rock bottom, I would say. So, what makes this tank so special or exclusive? I guess if you want to have the worst tier 9 tech tree. No, sorry, not tech tree, but premium. I rate it even below the two of the other premium tanks we already have in the game, the STR-VK and the WZ-120G. I rate them both better. Actually, not twice as better, but 1.5 better, I would say. I would always take those two tanks over this one. So, this T100, oh, there we have the strong turning rate, and this is without an IRM, and IRM would be even faster. And we thank for this T54 Lifer to helping me out with this narrow point here. So, if anyone was fear of missing out or anything, they had nothing to worry about, because this tank, I don't know. It's very hard to kind of generate credits with a tank like this as well, because you need to wait for the enemy to come at you. So in games where you need to be offensive, you're gonna have quite the struggle. Like you see me trying to set up various shots here and there with this gun handling. But hey, we managed to win this game on ends with our 5.2 damage. I'll take it. Let's hop on to the next replay. And here we are on the next replay on Cliff. We were gonna play a little bit more conventional tank destroyer-esque. But on Ensk, I don't see how you can play a conventional tank destroyer style at all. There's very few positions you could utilize it in the sniping department that you want to do with a tank destroyer. But I forgot to mention a little bit more about the gun, and you do have the 560 Alpha, 271 pen with the AP. The aim time is at 2.7. This is base stats. 2.7 is the aim time, and you have an 036 dispersion. You wanna help both of those things, but we're gonna go do that more when we get into the garage section of this video. But now we're gonna take this humble little abode up here on this balcony, where we can have a great view as the Bulldog gets incinerated by multiple guns shooting at it. And I'm using the Gentle Wave, I think is called, the camo. It's from one of the events that we had here. Oh, and another thing, when you have a tank like this that I actually thought of yesterday when I was playing it on stream, is that it's all about predicting the enemy. And in this game, I am predicting not exactly, but I'm kind of predicting very good where the enemy will be appearing, because it's a gun that you can't respond with. You have to already be there with the gun. So it's a kind of, I don't know how else to describe it, but you have to be aiming already before the target arrives, which can be quite tricky. It's not as pleasant as my Scorpion G buddy in front of me here, who just has to turn his turret and then click fire. But I have to move this entire hunk of hull and then wait for this long aim time to begin, and it takes a long time. Now I didn't predict, and I have intuition, and I can even switch between the shots during my aim time. So I guess that's a good thing, that allows you to the shell that you want to shoot while you're aiming at the target. Usually you don't have that. with a lot of tanks these days. But with this one you do. It's very few key points I can find that's good with this tank. Very few. Like, most of my plays here I could have done better with another tank destroyer. But here I am hitting though. I'm hitting quite a lot actually. The other thing the Wargaming loves to do is to give not low camo. The camo is actually, when I go about it, it's okay. You have a space camo of 18 in this tank, which is actually kind of fine. Oh, can I hit this HE? Line it up, line it up. There we go. I have also recently started using server reticle just to try it out again. I did use it way back. But now I went back with it and it feels very awkward in the beginning. But I'm still coping with it. And what I want to talk about what the Wargaming loves to do, they love to for some reason give some tanks just 30 shells and a fast reload. This and the IS-4 comes up when with 30 shells and around 9 seconds reload. And you just completely, well, empty everything you have so quickly. And it becomes this problem where late game, where you can't climb because you're so low shell count. You can't sort of shoot of sort of hard shots as well because you have low shell count. But that is also a minus. It just rings with minus this tank. The Tech Tree version, the Tech Tree Chinese I should say, is better than this tank. Like, I don't know how much, but 1.5 better, I would say. I can't think of any other tier 9 tank destroyer that's worse than this. Maybe you can do that in the comment section, because I can't. This is literally the worst the worst tier 9 tank destroyer out there. I emphasize that a lot. But we're coming to an end here. We have another 4.6, maybe 5. No, we didn't get the last one. Ooh. But hey, we got a 4.6 damage here, pretty good. Let's hop into the garage. And in the garage we're gonna go over the crew, the equipment, shells, consumables, and field modification. Let's start off with the crew. The commander, straightforward, we will pick Brothers in Arms, Sixth Sense, Concealment, then Situational Awareness and Recon, and then on the 6th day we can pick the repairs. I have it reversed because it's for my tier 10 tank destroyer of the Chinese line. The gunner, we have Brothers in Arms, Deadeye, because we have high calibers on these tanks, so we can penetrate even further into the tank. And then we have repair, concealment, and snapshot. You can switch around repairs and concealment. I would prioritize concealment over repair just because we want to hide, and we are really bad when it comes to the close-up fighting. For the driver, it's the Brothers in Arms, clutch braking. I would say Brothers in Arms, concealment, repair, off-road driving, smooth ride, and then clutch braking, because we turn already so good, so you don't really need the clutch braking there, just ignore that. But pick smooth ride, they're gonna help you when you go straight line forward. With a tank destroyer to help you have it a little bit smaller, the aiming circle. And for the loader, we have Brothers in Arms, Intuition, Concealment, Safe Storage, Repair, and then Firefighting. We prioritize that concealment because we want to be a little bit of a hidden tank out there. We don't want to be in the front line because of how poor this gun handles when you turn the hull. And for the equipments, I went with the improved aiming, ventilation, and rammer. I think that's fine for this tank. You could switch out for the IRM. I did try with that to see if it has better gun handling when you turn the hull, and it was minuscule. It's only when you go straight forward and backward it would actually help you out. It has too much of a bloom, too bad of that. But if I would pick a secondary equipment line, I would maybe go with the optics instead of the ventilation. And then I would probably put a rammer, and then I would actually go with an LNE, the low noise exhaust, just to get that camo value boosted up. Because I think that's the kind of niche that you can kind of get in with this tank. You can really boost up the camo value, and maybe you can get into certain hiding spots, or you can be allowed to snipe a little bit better with the sense that you won't be spotted so easily, but that is a very experimental build. I will most likely only be using this setup as I was going forward. The shells, I would say 50-50. You're always going to use the heat and the AP depending on what ground you see in front of you. If it's a lot of debris, AP. If it's straightforward, heat. You could also say that you can dump a lot more AP away and just load up a lot more heat. I think that would be fine as well. So you would have 20 and then that'd be 8 AP. AP for these rocks, walls and houses too that you can shoot through. Consumables, we take the ration because it just helps the tanks immensely. And let's go over the field modification. I have not grinded the entire field modification, but this is what I would have picked. Reinforced suspension, because it's the best field mods out there. We're gonna be even faster, so going up to that top speed is gonna be easier. We pick this, so we have better final solution aim, because it's all about that. You kind of negate the minus you get from aiming time. And we want to get this view range that maybe you can skip out on the ventilation / optics as well. So you can have full view range and then you can maybe kit it up even more camo value-esque. And for this one, I will boost the scouting. Just in case we have that optics build, that ninja bush build, I don't know what to call it. And for the last one, I'm actually gonna go against what I usually do. We're gonna pick the matte paints. So we have more concealment. And we are gonna break that 20 kilometers. Usually I say you should always stay at 20 kilometers. You don't really have to go above it, but you want to go to it, because then you kind of get away from the enemies a little bit easier. But with the WZ-120G FP, I would pick this one just to boost the camo value and be able to hide. And then we get up to a 44.4, which is relatively good, to be honest. Relatively good. You could obviously maybe boost it more with the ejector tuning, but the view range, if you use optics, then you can take it off. But since I'm not, I'm gonna use the right angle periscope so I can see the enemy. And I think that concludes it for this tank. This tank is to put the final words in. It's a bad tank. Of all the tier 9 tank destroyers out there, I can't see any one of these being worse. On stream, I was talking which one could maybe rival it, being at the bottom place. Maybe the STRV, maybe T95, maybe K91 PT, maybe Jag Tiger, because it's very popular to say that. I personally really like the Jag Tiger, so I'm kind of biased when it comes to saying this is a bad tank. But I would say those 4, maybe the 704, but I'm liking that as well. But I feel like that's better. Maybe the Conway, but these other that I have counted up, they have something going for themselves, while this tank has nothing going for itself. But that concludes my little tank review of the WZ-120G FT. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope I see you around.